For Russia, Crimea has always been problematic in defense and supply issues, and this was especially evident during the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. But for the Russian leadership, the seized peninsula was an element of reputation. A demonstration that Moscow could afford to seize what it considered its own. Things changed dramatically in 2022, when Crimea became the main logistical hub for the invasion of mainland Ukraine and a base for Russian occupation troops. Great expectations were placed on it, but the outcome was disappointment and a strategic deadlock. The Black Sea Fleet was supposed to play no less important a role in the occupation of mainland Ukraine than the ground forces and aviation component. But gradually the fleet lost its dominance in the Black Sea, suffered losses, was driven away from Ukrainian waters, and at one point began to burn in a spectacular and sparkling fashion. As a result, for almost 2 years the Black Sea Fleet not only failed to show any effectiveness, but at the end of 2023 it was expelled from the peninsula, and any call of its ships to the port may end with their total destruction. One of the real reasons for the occupation of Crimea in 2014 was Russia's desire to dominate the Black Sea, and it was willing to make any losses to maintain that dominance. However, it was ephemeral and dissipated as soon as Russia entered into full-scale confrontation with a country that essentially had no fleet. Now Russia has no navy, only a flotilla. For Russia, it was a priority after the occupation of Crimea to link it with the mainland territory by a bridge. This logistics was to simplify primarily military transport. As a result of the strikes on the bridge, logistics through Crimea proved unreliable, and in the second half of 2023 there were attempts by the occupiers to start construction of a railroad on the Ukrainian mainland, which only confirmed the enemy's lack of confidence in the future of the Kerch Bridge. To strengthen the security of airfields and other facilities on the peninsula, the Russian occupation forces began to concentrate more and more air defense equipment. Today, the peninsula has an echeloned air defense system, which is the second densest after Moscow. But this sometimes even simplifies the tasks for the Ukrainian defense forces to destroy the occupants' expensive air defense systems. In 2024, the story of the Black Sea Flotilla's escape from Crimea to Novorossiysk may repeat itself for aviation, which Russian troops will be forced to withdraw to Russian territory in order to protect from total destruction. For the Russian occupiers, Crimea was supposed to be a bulwark and support in their occupation of all of southern Ukraine, but it has turned into a burden that causes more problems and losses than profit. At some point, holding Crimea will become even more problematic for the enemy than, for example, the right bank of the Kherson region. The only difficulty is that for the Russian command, Crimea is a matter of reputation and principle. Even when it protrudes as a bleeding bone from the throat of the occupation regime, it will not be spat out, continuing to endure the pain. Perhaps this is what will ultimately break the regime.